I moved into the apartment 3 weeks ago. It was supposed to be temporary, 6 months at most. I wasn't picky, just needed something cheap. A roof, 4 walls, a lock on the door. This place had all of that. And one thing more, silence. It was quiet, too quiet. No traffic, no neighbors yelling, no pipes creaking in the walls. Just a faint, constant hum of a ceiling vent in the bedroom. At first, I liked it. It reminded me of white noise machines. Calming. But one night, I woke up at 3 a.m., not to the sound, but to the absence of it. The hum had stopped. I stared at the ceiling in the dark, waiting, listening. Then, click, the vent came back on. But the sound had changed. It was softer now, rhythmic, like breathing. I turned on the lamp, looked up, nothing unusual, just the standard old square vent. For screws, dust, shadow behind the slats. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, like I had missed some moment I wasn't supposed to hear. 2 days later, I had a friend over, Julia. She sat on the bed, drinking tea, scrolling on her phone. Paused. "Hey," she said, "is that vent running?" It sounded weird. I muted the TV. Listened. It did sound weird. The hum had deepened, almost wet, like something was inside, moving. I made a joke, said maybe it was rats. She laughed, but she kept glancing at the ceiling. Later, when she left, she said, "I don't know how you sleep in here." Then added, half joking, "I swear I heard it whisper." I try not to think about it until the following night. When I did hear it, it was late. I just turned off the lights. I lay still in bed, waiting for sleep. And then, through the darkness, came a voice. Faint, thin, dry. "Hello." He said all lights. The room was empty. Door closed. The sound had come from the vent, but not through it, from behind it. I got up slowly, grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight. I approached the vent, held my breath, and then, "Can you hear me?" I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just stood there, waiting. It spoke again, quieter, faster. "Please, I'm still here." That voice, it didn't sound malicious. It sounded desperate, but also didn't sound alive. The next day, I opened the maintenance panel in the hallway, found the breaker, switched off all power to the unit, went back to the bedroom. The hum was still there. I checked the walls. No vents on the other side. No ducts connecting rooms. This vent wasn't connected to anything. It shouldn't have made noise at all. It shouldn't have existed. That evening, I removed the grate for rusted screws, shined a flashlight inside. It was just a narrow shaft, about 2 feet deep. Metal, dust, no weighting, no airflow. But in the far corner, just before it turned sharply to the side, was something, a piece of paper. I used tongs to pull out. It was folded. I opened it carefully. Words smudged by moisture. They bricked it up, but it doesn't need doors. It only needs to listen. "Please don't leave me alone again." I stared at the note for a long time. It was old. The ink had bled through. The paper smelled like rot. I put it in a plastic bag, sat on the bed, turned off the lights, waited. The hum returned, and with it, the voice. But not the same one. This one was louder, heavier, like it filled the entire wall. "Who did you speak to?" My mouth was dry. I couldn't answer. "Who found me?" The wall vibrated. The metal slats of the vent rattled on their own. I reached for the power drill, sealed the vent shut with steel mesh, layered it twice, screwed the grate down hard, covered it with duct tape, then a towel. then a bookcase. That night, the voice was gone, but something else had taken its place. The air in the room was thicker, harder to breathe. The silence wasn't silence. It was held breath, tense, waiting. And then I heard it, not from the vent, from under the bed. A whisper, closer now. I didn't sleep, not after that. I sat on the floor, back to the wall, watching the space under the bed, until the sun rose. Nothing came out, no voice, no sado, but the silence was alive, breathing. At 7 a.m., e pexbake, la top, toothbrush, the vent note. I didn't even grab clothes. Just left. Went to a hotel 2 blocks away. Paid cash. Didn't tell anyone. The first night there, I slept, deep, dreamless, for 10 hours straight. When I woke, I felt better, clearer, but also ashamed. What was I running from? A sound? A wall? Some bad wiring? I told myself, it's stress. You've been alone too long. So that evening, I went back. The apartment was still. I opened the door slowly. Nothing had moved. The towel was still under the bookshelf. The vent was still sealed. But the air was thicker. It felt aware. I stepped inside, locked the door behind me, sat on the bed, listened. Nothing. I made tea, opened my laptop, tried to pretend things were normal. Then I heard it again. Not a voice, not a whisper, a scrape, metal on metal, from the bedroom wall. I walked in slowly. The bookshelf had shifted, not fallen, just nudged. I leaned in, listened, and from the other side of the grate, I heard something breathing. I slept on the couch that night, if you can call it sleep. Every hour, I woke up gasping. The air felt tight, like the walls were leaning in. Around 4 a.m., I heard the click of the bedroom door. It had been closed. I was sure of it. Now, it stood open, dark inside, colder than before. I didn't get up, just pulled the blanket over my head and waited for the light. In the morning, I called the building manager, asked about the vent system. He was confused, said the unit didn't have individual ducts, all sealed decades ago. I asked about the wall. He paused, said the apartment used to be 2 separate rooms. They knocked down the divider years ago. But, he said, the blueprint still showed an unlisted maintenance shaft between units 5A and 5B. There was no unit 5B anymore. It had been bricked over. Empty space. Not in use. Sealed. I asked. Sealed how? He laughed awkwardly. Says sealed from inside in the notes. No access. That night, I opened the grate. I know. Stupid. But I needed to see. This time, the screws came out easily. Too easily. I shined my flashlight in. The tunnel bent left. Sharper than before. And deeper. Much deeper. It hadn't been like this. I would have remembered. I reached in, with a phone on record, slid it forward, slowly, carefully. I watched the live feed on screen. Dark, dust, metal, then movement. A hand reached out from the black. Pale, thin, fingers too long. It touched the phone and pushed it, gently. Then the feed went dark. I yanked my arm back, fell against the wall, scrambled to my feet. The phone didn't return. I didn't sleep, didn't move, just sat on the couch, with every light on, eyes open, heartbeat loud. At 5:12 a.m., a sound came from the vent. Not breathing, not voice, typing, like fingers, tapping glass. I went to the bedroom. Slow. The vent was still open, still dark. but on the floor below it, my phone, face up, recording. The screen was cracked, but it was still playing video. I picked it up, pressed play, and saw myself lying in bed, eyes closed, something watching from a vent, something leaning out. The last frame, before it cut, was the side of my face turning, eyes opening. I don't remember doing that. I don't remember ever waking up. But the timestamp says, tomorrow,